YouTube and X. It's your main man, BTM here, bringing you back to BTM Crypto News Network. Let's go. So this is a quick video about XRP, trying to get back in with XRP, trying to stay current. There's so much going on, so much news, so many updates. But this video is a summary of the XRP ETFs. So from what I can gather, no, we currently don't have a US ETF yet, but it is due to launch this week. We're going to go into some detail there as well. So let me know what information you have and what you found. First off, shout out to Caleb and Brown. Let's turn the screen share on so we can see what we can see. Check out the spotlight. So shout out to our partner, Caleb and Brown, for the crypto brokerage site. They do hold your crypto and they help you with 24/7 support. And I get a small percentage if you sign up. But I know a lot of people are new to crypto and you have questions. Caleb and Brown supports 24/7. Someone's always there to answer the phone, and someone is there to help you navigate the incredibly complicated world of crypto. So let's check out the bubbles real quick. ZBN is up 7.7, is up 11.7. Casper's up 4.6. Near's up 4.3. XLM's up 2.5. Hash flow is up 4.9. AIZ 16 is up 7.8. PIF is up 5.7. XCN is up 1.1. Litecoin's up 1.8. Bonk is up 4.1. And I'm actually looking for XRP. Solana's up 2.6. Cubic is up 0.9. And where is XRP? That's weird, man. Okay, here we go. So XRP is up 0.1%, 2.6 on the week, 0.5 on the hour, down 2.3 on the month, and is currently over the $3 mark again. So XRP is back rolling. And let's see here. Currently, we're at $3.03, 181 billion with a B market cap. Up 0.31 on the hour, up 3.9 on the day, up 2.8 on the week, down 3.58 on the last month, up 41.06 for the 90 days, and up 433. And that's live coin watch again. Let me check coin market cap real quick and then we'll get into it. Currently, CoinMarketCap says it is $3.03, up 0.31, 181.5 billion market cap, up 0.51%. 24-hour trading volume is 4.9 billion with a B, down 16.7%. So this is, experts say XR ETF launch this week could be bigger than spot XRP ETF due to greater regulation oversight. XEC's decision on spot ETF expected in October. So let's go over to Twitter. Make sure you follow your main man BTM on the Twitter to stay current with news and events. So let's see what we have here. Currently, Rex Osprey XRP ETF XRPR is coming this week. So we keep hearing this, but I'm just waiting to see. XRPR will be the first US ETF to deliver investors spot exposure to the third largest crypto market cap, XRP, from Rex Osprey, the team behind SSK. Find funds. So this is XRPR, which is one of the ETFs. First regulated ETF for XRP arrives this week. So we're going to keep tracking this and let you know exactly when it hits, because I'm definitely picking some up. Breaking first U.S. spot XRP ETF official and more. This is yesterday. Effective post-effective amendment 213. XRP opportunities and trust. And looks like 75 days from filing. So we have no official word yet. This is just speculation. XRP wasn't built for speed. It was built to replace the petrodollar system. And when that shift happens, gold will soar past 10,000 in the not so distant future, and all is connected. So make sure you join the BTM page, and I have this listed here. I don't want to play this video. I might come back to it, but this is Jack the Ripper. CNBC reported live yesterday. Ripple is taking over Swift. Here is how XRP can easily reach 1,000. Please and thank you. Let's see what this guy has to say. I think I turned the volume down.
To specialize in this. It is something you have to pay attention to. Here's why. Let's just say XRP decides to all of a sudden they replace Swift. Let's say that happens. If XRP replaces Swift and FedNow, you know what happens? Let me give you some numbers here. XRP's ledger processes transactions in 3 to 5 seconds at nearly no cost, making it significantly faster and cheaper than Swift. So Swift processes $5 trillion daily, or 1.25 quadrillion annually. If you didn't know what that was, quadrillion annually, Swift. If XRP captures 5 to 10% of volume, let's just say 10% of volume, $125 trillion annually. The demand for XRP, by the way, it could be any of these other technologies we're talking about. Analysts estimate that a $10 trillion market cap could push XRP's price to $100 per token, with full replacement potentially driving it up to $1,000 there. For someone that doesn't want to specialize in this, it is something you have to pay attention to. Here's why. Let's just say XRP decides to all of a sudden they replace Swift. Let's say that happens. If XRP replaces Swift and FedNow, you know what happens? Let me give you some numbers here. XRP's ledger processes transactions in 3 to 5 seconds at nearly no cost, making it significantly faster and cheaper than Swift. So Swift processes $5 trillion daily, or 1.25 quadrillion annually. If you didn't know what that was, quadrillion annually, Swift. If XRP captures 5 to 10% of volume, let's just say 10% of volume, $125 trillion annually. The demand for XRP, by the way, it could be any of these other technologies we're talking about. Analysts estimate that a $10 trillion market cap could push XRP's price to $100 per token, with full replacement potentially driving it up to $1,000.
Is big if they think that XRP could fully replace Swift. And like I've been telling you guys, a lot of this technology is old, right? It's time for this stuff to get updated. It's only a matter of time before we replace it. Shout out to my main man, Crypto Chrome. XRP update ETF launch. After 10 years, it's finally happened. First regulated XRP ETF is live. Wall Street is cracked the door, and this is the start of real adoption. Let's see what he has to say real quick.
XRP, after 10 long years, it finally happened. Wall Street has approved the very first regulated XRP ETF in the United States. This isn't just hype, this is a real milestone. For more than a decade, XRP holders waded through lawsuits, setbacks, and disappointment. Now the gates of traditional finance have finally opened. Think of XRP like a high-speed train stuck at a red light. This ETF is the green signal that lets it start moving. The structure is simple but smart. 80% of the fund is pure XRP exposure, while 20% is placed in treasuries. It's like building a bridge with two strong supports, one for stability and one for growth. Investors get real access, while regulators feel safe. The fee is 0.75%, but what really matters is credibility. To put it in perspective, Solana's ETF grew to $240 million. If XRP attracts just a bit more attention, we could see 1 to 3 billion in inflows. Imagine a faucet slowly turning on until it becomes a fire hose. At first it drips, then the flow becomes unstoppable. Here's the catch. Don't expect fireworks right away. Institutional money moves slowly, and the Fed's upcoming decision could shift the whole market. This isn't about tomorrow's chart. It's about laying the foundation for the next decade. So the real question is this. Are we watching the dawn of XRP's mainstream era, or is this only the first chapter in a much bigger story?
Out the crypto chrome. So this is German analyst turns bullish on XRP, breakout zone $3.40, new all-time high 390 anytime. He believes XRP is on the verge of a major breakout soon.
Diesen Bereich hier rausnehmen. Ja,
3,40.
das sind die 3,40 $. Da muss er drüber auf 3,50 und dann muss er hier drüber und neues All-Time-High schreiben und dann ist die Bewegung nach oben gegeben. Und die zweite Frage, die ich mir stelle, wo geht's hin als nächsten Schritt nach oben, ist, wo sind die Support?
So shout out to all the Germans in the house. I didn't realize it was in German, but we pretty much know what he's saying. $3.40 to new all-time high 390. So let's go. Let me know what you guys think. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Solving the quadrillion-dollar problem. Swift, XRP, HBAR, and XDC, DTCC, XRP, XLM, and DXDC, Fed, XRP, XPR, SDSR, XRP, BIS, XRP, XLM, UN, XRP, XLM, XDC, and HBAR. BRICS, XRP, and XLM, CBDC, XRP, and XLM, Real World Asset, XRP, XLM, XPR, XCD, HBAR, and GBCN. I don't know why ZBCN is not on here, but this is over to chat. So I was asking chat GPT, what up, chat? What's the best XRP ETF to buy? It depends on your goals, risk tolerance, and where you invest. Country brokerage. As of mid 2025, XRP based ETFs, ETPs, are still relatively new and awaiting regulatory approval in many places, but I can walk you through some of the best options currently there. What to watch for and which might be best in different scenarios. If I tell you, country, how to invest long term, short term, I can tailor best. What to watch for XRP ETF ETP. Spot versus future derivatives. Spot funds holding underlying XRP tokens, which track the price more cleanly. Futures derivatives can introduce roll costs, but basic risk tracking error. Fees, expensive ratios. High fees eat into returns, especially for volatile assets. Custody backing. Is the XRP physically held in cold storage by regulated custodians? That adds trust and security. Liquidity. Bigger asset base and trading volume reduce spread, slippage, and risk of fund closure. Regulatory risk. XRP status, security versus commodity, in conjunction with strong effects whether ETFs are allowed or may face legal risk. Best XRP funds, leading candidates as of 2025. Here are some of the better options currently live or very close to approval, pros and cons. So we have the Evolve ETF for XRP in Canada and TSX, spot-based, physically backed XRP, reasonably managed fee 0.75%. It provides direct exposure via regulated ETF in Canada, less regulatory uncertainty there compared to the US currently. If you're outside of Canada, currency risk matters, CAD versus USD. Also, tax treaty issues, also newer, less history, high volatility of XRP remains risky. 3IQ XRP ETF, also in Canada, a spot exposure fund, one of the early entrants, decent size. Similar risk, newer fund, volatility. If you're not Canadian, possibly harder to access. Also watch the fees and how big it scales. 21 shares, XRP ETF, AP or AR, I'm tripping. AXRP, Europe and Switzerland. Well-known ETP, physically backed, fairly mature, many brokers in EU, Switzerland listed. ETPs are not always identical to ETFs. From regulators' tax perspective, fees may be higher. Sometimes liquidity or spread is worse. Also, regulatory risk depending on your country. Wisdom Tree Physical XRP ETF Europe. A good alternative in Europe, physically backed, double custody, regulated custody practices. Cost matters. Regulatory changes in Europe could affect how crypto ETPs are taxed or allowed. If your brokerage doesn't support it, access could be limited. So, this is US status and upcoming candidates. If you're looking to invest in the US, several firms, ProShares, Grayscale, um, Bitwise, Franklin Templeton, etc., have filed for spot XRP ETFs and some related products. Decisions are expected in 2025. As of now, I believe no fully approved spot ETF is traded broadly in the US. Future derivatives or leveraged inverse ones may be closer. Regulation is still being clarified. So, just a note currently, there are not any in the US. Still waiting on approval and waiting for updates. But currently, the US does not have any XRP ETF. Pay attention, folks. Which one might be best depending on your use case? Here's some recommendations depending on what you want, your goal and situation. Long term hold of XRP with minimal headaches. If you're not in the US, one of the spot backed ETFs, ETPs, like Evolve XRP in Canada, if in Canada, or 21 shares AXRP, if accessible. These give you direct exposure, decent custody, and regulated environments. So, of the long term, the Canadian Evolve and 21 shares, which I think is also going to be in the US, are the safest so far. If you want to trade and speculate XRP price swings, more liquid ETP with good trading volume, like 21 shares in Europe or ETF ETP, which are easier to buy and sell, but be aware of spreads and fees. Leveraged options are risky. Stay away from leverage trading, guys. I'm just throwing that out there. Not financial advice. This is just for entertainment purposes. U.S. Investor waiting for spot ETFs to get approved. Monitor filings for Grayscale, ProShares, Bitwise. If you prefer safety, you might wait until one has a track record post approval. Meanwhile, you can access non US ETPs if your brokerage allows, or use crypto purchase directly if acceptable. My take, which is best overall. If you pick one best available today, assuming your typical investor scenario, not super risky, want to expose, just not trading, I lean towards the 21 shares, a XRP ETP for non-custodial, non-Canadian investors in Europe because it's physically backed. It has reasonably large AUM. It is mature more than the new Canadian listed funds, which have less history. If you're in Canada, Evolve ETF is excellent and more cohesive, has an ETF rather than ETP for local tax and regulatory cases. Uh, Currently, the status of approval as of mid-September 2025, XRP ETFs and ETPs in the US. What is approved? ProShares Ultra XRP ETF UXRP 2% leverage future based fund is currently approved and trading in the US. There are also some leveraged and derivative based XRP exposure funds. What isn't approved yet? As of now, no pure XRP ETF, meaning the ETF that holds actual XRP with direct exposure, has been granted final approval in the US. So currently, there is no ETF that actually holds XRP, right? They're doing leverages and things, but nothing for an actual ETF is approved in the US yet. What isn't approved yet as of now, spot XRP ETF. Several firms, Grayscale, Bitwise, Franklin Templeton, 21 shares, Wisdom Tree, have submitted filings for spot XRP ETFs. The decision on those are still pending. The latest development for Rex Osprey XRPR, there is a new ETF called Rex Osprey XRPR that is expected to launch soon. However, it is not a pure spot ETF in the traditional sense. It's structured under Investment Company Act of 1940, a 40 Act fund. Will hold a mix of XRP plus other assets like cash, derivatives, and US Treasuries. This structure is intended to help navigate regulatory hurdles more easily. So, again, this Rex Osprey XRPR is not just XRP, it is XRP, cash, and derivatives and treasuries. Bottom line, no, there is not yet a fully clean spot XRP ETF approved in the US, but there are leveraged and future based XRP ETFs that are active, not financial advice. This is just for entertainment purposes. Ladies and gentlemen, I would stay away from that. Several spot XRP ETFs applications under review. I would wait for Grayscale. Wish I had my Grayscale shirt on. Grayscale or Bitwise or Franklin Templeton, maybe 21 shares, but I would wait for these guys to have a spot XRP ETF, which means they hold XRP and you're leveraging your ETF, which is your stock upon actual ETF. Because if something happens and they don't have the ETF, it's going to get crazy. A potential hybrid structure like XRPR is about to launch that gives the US investors something very close to get exposure through extra components. So let me know what you guys think. I think that's a good summary. Let me know what you've seen or found for XRP. And as always, it's your main man. But before we pack it up, let's check something real quick. The US is set to launch its first XRP ETF this week, making a significant milestone in the cryptocurrency market. This development is expected to boost accessibility and investment in Ripple. Boys, the folks, the Ripple, um, further integrating digital assets into traditional finance. So let me know what you guys think about this. And if you want to continue the XRP ETF series. But as always, it's your main man BTM signing out. Let's get back to the money, guys, and stay dangerous. And it's okay to be different, rude, or strange. Maybe it's not you that's different, it's everyone else. But as always, BTM is out. Thanks for joining and see you soon.